good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Community Matters Committee meeting for Wednesday, 23rd of October. Just usual housekeeping, fire safety and exit in the building. We're not expecting any fire alarms. So if anything does go off, it will be the real deal, as it were. Fire exits are there and there. Please do use the lift. And then if we do need to evacuate, we will meet in the car park opposite. Okay, apologies for absence. I think we should be due, Mariam, I think.
Yes, we haven't received any.
But obviously we've got Bob and Martin, who are currently with a dispensation anyway at the moment. Okay, declarations of interest, councillors that are here. I need to declare a pecuniary interest in relation to my employer, who's got a commercial interest in airport operations. So there's a Bristol Airport agenda item 11. So I just need to do that. Anything else for? No. Everybody else is all good. Okay, so move on to item number 4, which is the verbal update. We still haven't got any further on anything sort of further to note on the change in places, have we? So unfortunately, we're still keeping abreast of that, and hopefully once that is all registered and ready to rock and roll, then we'll be able to sort of publish that. BSIP Transport Hub. So we held our own sort of PTC meeting here along with North Somerset transport officers a couple of weeks ago now. There's another 2 engagement events which North Somerset are planning separately to the one that we held. They will be going out on social media and the normal channels as well, hopefully across the course of the next couple of days. But sort of hot off the press, what they've confirmed today for us is Saturday the 9th of November. They'll be at the farmers market in the piazza, and then specifically related to sort of businesses. They're looking for business feedback, and they've managed to book the Portishead Youth and Community Centre on the 6th of November, and that will be held between 5 and 7. We've a press release that was shared with us today, and that will be going out on the normal North Somerset channels, and we'll be supporting with sending that to North Somerset Times and everybody else, as we did before as well. So we have got a little bit of an update in terms of the bus stop rebrand and the refurbs as well, and what we're doing that was shared to us. So we have got crossover with some of the refurbishment that is our own PTC bus shelters as well. So we just need to work through that list and sort of understand which ones they are, and if like what was a couple of things that were mentioned in the meeting that we had as well, was whether more could be made of the ones that we've got, reallocation of some of the electronic signage that's on certain of the bus stops that aren't being serviced anymore, certainly on Bristol Road, just to get that passenger information available to more people as well. 4.3 is our councillor vacancy that we have for Westward. We mentioned this because it was sort of hot off the press again just at the last meeting, but just to confirm that the by-election is being held. It is the 5th or 6th of December. Yeah, we'll double check. But it'll be published on the Town Council website on next week, 31st of October. And then just a couple of days before that, again, we've got an additional residents meeting, and that's on the 29th of October. That's downstairs here, and that is at 7 o'clock. Yeah, 7 o'clock on the 29th of October, which is next Tuesday. We did want to put one other thing on our verbal update, David, and you wanted to mention around CCTV.
Two things.
Yeah, sure.
Firstly, we've had a response from North Somerset Council about their willingness to pay for marina safety measures, and they have declined the offer and the information we gave them to support our recommendation to them that they should put barriers in place. So we're in the process of getting quotes for protective barriers around there, and in discussion with Steve Rees and his family about funding for that. And the second thing was, thanks Samuel, was about concerns from residents living close to Slade Road Park and Slade Road Field about recurrence of vandalism there, and a request from Avon and Somerset Police to that their investigation would be helped if CCTV were put in place, and we've obtained some costings, some provisional costings for that. So that's something we could would need to take to full council probably.
So we'll note that. So
Just continue. The residents meeting at 7:30.
oh, thanks, Nick.
I thought it was
Yeah.
if you don't mind repeating that.
Yeah, no, of course,
That'd be
yeah.
lovely.
Yeah, so that's back to the 4.4.
So I'll stay with it. So the vandalism there, is that being reoccurring?
Yes, it's been going on for at least 6 months now, including fire lighting and stones in at least one case has run out of a resident's house.
So police advice for a permanent CCTV or reported?
They said their investigation would be helped by the presence of CCTV. I've approached the North Somerset CCTV team. They've already surveyed the site, and they said it would be impossible to put there's no way to push temporary CCTV up, so the only thing to do would be to put up permanent.
Yeah, so just back
questions?
to
So two people are waiting to get in the Zoom meeting. Just David, quick question. You mentioned the railings, obviously at down by the marina. There's consultation taking place, obviously, with some services involved as well, obviously police, fire, ambulance, etc. So I know there were some concerns raised by them, particularly if they've got to try and climb more railings. It's not necessarily the solution to go forward. There were other solutions offered, but nothing was ever heard back from anybody.
We consulted with boat folk about that, and we've looked at other marinas around the country. We haven't explicitly spoken, and we've spoken to the youth club and to the Portshead Primary School, which is nearby, but we haven't spoken explicitly to the ambulance service.
I think you find you get an interesting conversation with the fire service potentially, or the Life Coast Guard. But it's railings is great, but you've still got to get over the railings to get somebody out of the water, and it's harder, obviously, because you've got to try and get them up further. There are other things in use, not too far away in Bristol, which is trying to mitigate this happening in future. And they're using, I think it's an infrared laser system, which is constantly monitored, so they can have people there within pronto, because it triggers a system. Just a suggestion.
Okay.
and so just to go back to 4.4 with the additional residents meeting. So that will be 7:30 next Tuesday to the 29th of October. Our updates on the residents meeting, sort of the items that we've kind of continued to keep onto the agenda here. The updates that we've got since our last meeting, myself and Nikki held a meeting along with Mariam as well in Portishead Medical Group, just to kind of understand their predicaments that they've got. So we're kind of following up really, I guess, with that, just to kind of streamline exactly what it is that we can support with, and how that ends up looking. So yeah, we kind of keep that up to date really, I guess. And we've got, we should have feedback from some support that is being offered to PMG as well, in terms of getting residents on the NHS app. So we'll wait for that feedback, and then we can move on from there. And then also the carnival, it's become a it's on the PRAN thing, but it should be separate, shouldn't it? But yeah, so just to say that we have had a grant request, which is currently going through the process at the moment, through the channels, and then hopefully we can give an update on the next Community Matters sort of meeting as well. So we. Was it Ben? Are you still needing to move off Sharpish and we can reallocate?
As long as I'm left by 8:20, I'm fine.
Yeah, okay. No worries then. We'll keep to the agenda as it is, and then we'll move number 9, isn't it? We'll move 9 up shortly. So if we move on to public participation, just to receive from members of the public any statements or questions relevant to Portishead, which if we can answer, we will, or written reply will follow. So can I invite anybody to?
One very quick one, Emma. I think I've read the reply or the answer. When with the parking situation and the executive have passed it, what's the process for calling it in? Is that done prior to the executive meeting, or is it done after? I think I probably know the.
Yeah, please.
It's got to be called in by
technical knowledge.
Basically, 2 counts. There's a scrutiny committee. You're familiar with those. So you've got the executive, you've got these committees who scrutinise their decisions. 2 members of that committee, so 2 councillors who are not on the committee, need to call it in by the 29th of October. And I understand that the chairman of the committee, John Proctor-Hawley, has to agree to that. That's what I understand. So that's the process that has to be on the train.
In answer to Paul's question,
you have to call it in after they've decided, but the chairman has to agree to it.
2 have got to do it between now and the 29th of October.
And is the chairman likely to agree to it?
I don't know, but
I'm trying to think who he is.
John Proctor-Hawley is a long-serving district councillor. I do know him. He is a friend of Portishead in the sense he was quite instrumental in getting another bad Somerset decision overturned, which is when they were going to bulldoze the Lido. I think a long time ago. He was the chair of the scrutiny committee at the time, who basically said no, we need to look at this again. So that's a good prompt, because I was just about to write to him to point that out. So if anyone else would like to write to him to point that out, that would be very helpful. Okay. So, all right.
I guess anybody can be encouraged to do so.
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
isn't it?
There is on all of the social media in Portishead, Cleveland, Nailsea, there are various posts with the names of all the councillors. So if anyone would like to write to those councillors and ask them to call it in. Yeah. Obviously, we have 1 councillor on the committee, which is Tim Snowden. So Tim's obviously one of them. So it's been 1 up.
I thought it was just 1. In the past, it's been 1. In previous administration, it's been 1. And they've been very vocal about I've been the one to call it in.
Yeah.
And I thought at the parking charges meeting, the public meeting, we were given the impression Tim Snowden would call it in. So if it hasn't been done, I'd be very surprised why it hasn't been done.
Well, basically, Nick Brown, who's the legal head of legal on Somerset, looked at the constitution and he said that you have to have 2 people. So that's what the rules that we're going to.
He didn't go and get one of his party colleagues, didn't
he? Okay. Yeah. Anybody else to?
No, I do, but I don't know the answer. There's not 2 people to get away.
Yeah, no, we're okay.
Right. I'll try and make it quite quickly. Right. At the last Community Matters meeting, I mentioned Lisa Stanley and her Make a Difference award by the BBC, primarily for the amazing, initiative of Lisa originally for the Portishead Community Fridge, but then the hard work of Lisa and her team in making it a success for the town. So I asked if the town council could recognise Lisa in some way for her achievement, and is that going to be taken forward?
Yes.
It's something that has happened in the past for people who've made a big difference.
We have a plan, and we'll be getting in touch, of course, either tomorrow or
lovely. So, thank you. Now, at two previous meetings following the terrible conduct towards Ken Smith on the 19th of June 2024, in a full town council meeting by the two councillors who sit in the chairman and vice chairman seat of Portishead Town Council, I asked if the two councillors concerned would apologise to Mr Smith, who was a vulnerable resident, merely trying to correct misinformation given at the Portishead Residents' annual meeting by the same two members of this town council. Fortunately, albeit 4 months late, Mr Smith has now received one written apology for the distressing behaviour towards him. The other apology is still outstanding from the councillor who chose to put himself into the chairman's seat of Portishead Town Council. Now, as it has been highlighted, that conduct was unacceptable towards Ken Smith and one apology has been given. This was not on behalf of Portishead Town Council though, which it should have been, or on council letterhead, but it was franked by the Town Council. So is Roger Whitfield ready to now give an apology to both Ken Smith and Paul Mortby for his part in that meeting, which in his correspondence to Paul Mortby at the time was that he found the behaviour of himself and the vice chairman acceptable? If the vice chairman's apology now recognises the behaviour was a breach of his code of conduct, then surely the chairman has to concur with that and formally apologise. Otherwise, it appears to the electorate that the Town Council is not fully in agreement with regards to what is considered acceptable and appropriate by councillors towards residents. Has this council recruited a resident in an informal capacity to act as a middle person between the council and residents, as one resident was informed this week? And I'm sorry, I haven't got any written evidence of that. If this is the case, it doesn't say much for the communication skills of the council. I mentioned the engagement drop-in sessions previously and emphasised that councillors are elected representatives and any information requested or given at those engagement sessions should be posted on the Town Council website so it's shared with the town. Furthermore, any questions posed of councillors should be asked directly, recorded and answered appropriately and not through a resident who is not elected. This prevents any information becoming sort of misconstrued, and residents are of course not accountable for councillors' responses in any case. Parking charges. It's very disappointing that the councillor on this town council, who is also an NSC executive, stated in writing that he disliked public participation because of those who use that section of the meeting as a platform to air their political views. I've actually only seen his own party actually air their political views at previous meetings. I've never seen anybody else do it. The same councillor, incidentally, who gave a long and drawn-out speech at the NSC executive meeting last week against parking charges. But sadly, that same councillor, who we now discover, approved the NSC budget where parking charges were defined and included to support that budget financially. The same councillor who is on this town council also signed off a biased and flawed North Somerset Council consultation survey after 18 months of meetings where he never voiced any objection to parking charges according to the NS leader, as on video. Now, Councillor Gunnell, you spoke at that same NSC executive meeting against parking charges, presumably as a member of this town council. But may I ask you, please, if you were aware that the party that controls this town council supported Lake Grounds park charging and road car park charging, as evidenced by videos from previous town council meetings when charges were last proposed? So it's a very simple question. I wonder whether you were aware of that.
I wasn't aware of that, and what I did at the meeting of North Somerset Council was represent the views of the people I spoke to about.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it was just whether you were aware of that. It might be good for you to see some of the videos. The bus service improvement plan meeting last week, town councillors present gave out a survey regarding the major bus transport hub and other proposals. This meeting was poorly attended by, I believe, about 15 residents. That might not be entirely accurate, but I cannot find that survey in hard copy anywhere in the town for residents, and I could not locate one online on social media sites, including one managed and moderated by two town councillors. It wasn't even on the town council website, although the meeting notification was. I need to ask why not, and also why the closing date for returning that survey was yesterday, only 1 week after the bus meeting, which a lot of people didn't know about in the town. So whose decision was it to create that survey, please? And what is happening about ensuring other residents are able to engage using the same survey? And when will NSE receive those surveys? That was that, okay. And may I ask Councillor Gunnell again, I'm not trying not to interrogate you, a question relating to the Marina football survey undertaken. Could you please tell me if you knew that North Somerset Council had undertaken a recent risk assessment at that location, ruling out safety barriers before you undertook the football survey? If no, that gives me great concern. If yes, then may I please ask, what do you think a football survey would do that the risk assessment hadn't already taken into account by those who are responsible for that location and well aware that the footfall had increased since the master plan's inception and since development had been completed? There was actually no doubt that footfall had increased since then. I'm not surprised that North Somerset Council weren't happy with your football survey, because they are the district authority. You were a town council, and I understand it wasn't just councillors undertaking the football survey. So they would actually question the reliability of those people as well. So it was a strange move forward. Also, North Somerset Council had already obtained a quote of 140,000, that's in your minutes. And as it is a good practice to seek free quotes, what was the town council getting more quotes for? Has North Somerset Council asked Portishead Town Council to do that? I don't think there's any price on safety. So I would ask if Portishead Town Council would be committing to helping fund any safety barriers, or, as Ben Aldridge has said tonight, any other alternative, because it seems that there could be alternatives. If North Somerset Council is not minded to change their recent decision. So there's a lot of questions there. I don't expect you to answer all together, but I was quite surprised by the information that came out at the last Community Matters meeting, because it seemed that if you did know about the information that North Somerset Council had done that from your own party member, then why were we bothering wasting officer time from the town council in conducting another survey? It just seemed, I couldn't see the objective to it. So I'm not surprised at the answer they came back with. Sorry.
Briefly, we were aware of the health and safety report.
There is a risk assessment there as well, wasn't it? It wasn't just a health and safety report, it was a risk assessment.
There was a coroner's inquiry.
Oh no, that's separate though, the coroner's inquiry. The coroner's inquiry asked for that to be done. It's not the same thing.
No,
no,
of course not. But there's a coroner's inquiry. There's a subsequent health and safety report. We were aware of that. We felt it important to see for ourselves the level of usage down at Portishead Marina. And safety issues, just observe for ourselves. No officer involved, was done by councillors.
It wasn't all done by councillors, was there? You had party members down there as well. Yeah, you had.
Yes, we
were aware of that. But well, I understand that you didn't. Well, they weren't all councillors undertaking the survey.
Volunteers
but
were involved.
They were, yes. So they weren't all councillors. So it's really important we get that information accurate. But I just don't understand what your objective was, bearing in mind that the risk assessment had already been done. And again, I think rather than
we were looking at metrics, weren't we, really, and trying to kind of gauge more information that we thought might be relevant to a reassessment, given the football.
I don't understand what more information you can find, apart from the fact there's been 2 tragic deaths there, and North Somerset Council have all the information that they need. So I think from their point of view, I can see why they couldn't see, this is why they probably haven't taken it perhaps seriously, because they've conducted all that, and they've got the legal teams, they've got everyone that can do that. So I think hopefully, you know, it's probably easy if I give the clerk a copy of my sort of speech,
yeah,
and then
we can
I'd love to have the answers, especially regarding the quotes. I don't see why Portishead Town Council say they're going to get quotes when North Somerset Council should be getting 3 anyway. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Wendy.
No worries. Thank you. And I'll respond to you on the BSIP myself, because it was, yeah, in essence, it was something I I put together.
Okay.
So I can respond to all
It
of
might
that.
just help people understand it. a little
Yeah,
bit
of
more.
course.
Lovely, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. In essence, though, I'm not sure that North Somerset will use my form going forward, because I think they're going to use their own methods of data collection for the BSIP project. So we've kind of handed that over to them, if that makes sense. So.
May I just add one other question to that? When you were given the dates of the next consultations, because a lot of people went to that bus meeting last week, not really realising it was going to be a presentation by North Somerset Council. They thought that the bus services were going to be there. So a couple of people were really confused, and then the survey was given out, and some of them haven't had time to do it anyway because it's such a tight
There's plenty time to respond.
But the 2 dates you gave, are those the only 2 dates they're going to do? Because once it goes to formal consultation online, we all know what those formal consultation means. We discovered it from the parking charges. They're often led and biased, and people can't even offer added comment on them.
Yeah, the dates that they've got the consultation have now been firmed up, and that will be part of the information that they're pushing out as well. So we were working to at the time that we presented our the meeting, we were working to a shorter timescale, but because of their delays in appointing the consultants, they've extended that out now. So and we became aware of that on with the presentation that they give us on the evening. So yes, we pushed out.
There's a lot of unrest, I think, about the whole thing. Really. Thank you, Emma.
I don't know, that's fine.
Quick question to follow up on something Annette raised. Obviously, I don't do social media. It's not a place to be. But obviously, I'm aware that obviously parking charges have been brought in Race Road, Lake Grounds, etc. Is it correct that's going to be charging £5 a day for the Lake Grounds? Is that correct, or is that wrong information?
I think it's £4 a half a day, isn't it? £8 for half day.
Right. So my question then, it's a loaded question. You know where I'm going with this one, probably. This town council, me, or several in particular, fought damn hard for that skate park. We spent huge amounts of money on it, just shy of £400,000. Huge amount of money has been spent on doing up the play park in the area, which again, North Somerset gave us as part of the deal. Kind of stitches up as well, because there's things that they didn't tell us about, like the tree work, which cost huge amounts of money, the damaged railings, which cost huge amounts of money. Yet this town council, us, the taxpayer, being suffered with that bill again because of North Somerset's incompetence, because he was even admitted in an email they knew about the tree. I can't say much beyond that, because I'm not a councillor anymore, obviously, but I've seen the email and I have a memory, obviously. But my concern is, if this town council and nobody lodges a formal complaint against this to get it called in, then what's the point of having a skate park? I popped down there after work last night, just having some work done, last bit of landscaping, and I was there for all of 5 minutes because it was getting dark, and there were about 10 kids dropped off by their parents while the parents are going for a walk along the seafront. Well, if they have to pay for that, then we may as well dig up the skate park right away and go and chuck it in the bin, because North Somerset have just shafted us, and everyone's going to use that. We cannot expect 5, 6, 7-year-old kids to be walking to the lake grounds on their own. It is not going to happen. So what's going to happen? One is the kids won't go because the parents won't take it and won't pay the ridiculous charges. 2, they'll park on all the other surrounding roads, Beach Road East, West, etc., 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 which North Somerset will then deny that there's a parking problem and won't do anything about that either, because apparently they have no money. That's all we ever get told. So I would formally request that whoever has to call this in, we do some running around to make sure it's called in before the 29th. Because if we don't call it in, we should really hang our heads in shame and say we've not fought this problem, because it would be absolutely horrifying if it's not called in. And at least there, some common sense prevails and the charges dropped. I also aware, obviously, you have volunteers that go to the cafe for the Lido. Well, why are you going to want to volunteer and help people in this town and then pay for a parking charge? Well, I know what I'd be doing. If I was a volunteer, I wouldn't be going anymore. So then you've got another problem with the Lido. So it's the vicious circle.
Yeah, 100%.
Can I just add to what Ben said, because as you know, when we did the grant applications to the National Lottery, Yoga, they asked specifically whether it will be a free to use facilities. So
We confirmed in the
So
legal
I-
document, free access to all.
So I obviously
Yeah.
said that it was. So that hasn't yet come out in the various discussions at North Somerset, but I'm going to be writing to the councillors and point that out to them. I asked you if I give you that name, would you on my
Oh, right, so, yeah, no,
Because
we
obviously
can.
as the chair of the community group, you say the same thing.
Yeah.
I don't think, they just haven't computed all the knock-on effects.
I was unfortunately not intelligent enough to do that. It's just the problem.
So we need to,
Yeah.
I'll give you the details. anyway. So
Yeah,
thank you.
all right, and
Yeah.
happy,
Sorry, David.
I would just say, Ben, all the clubs down there understand of the up in arms. The Lido sent a rep down to the North Somerset Executive meeting who spoke very clearly about the challenges they face. It's just a bad decision, for all sorts of residents.
It obviously wouldn't happen. We've been with this council, well, when I was, we fought it and they said, no, they took it away, they withdrew it. So it's not even on the radar. And suddenly, because they have an even bigger shortfall than they envisaged, maybe because they waste money on other projects around this town, like the football club, as a case in point, that wasn't justified, and we still to this day don't believe it's justified. Yet the football pitches, lo and behold, I found out this week, still aren't playable. So the football club have written them off for the next 2 years. North Somerset have offered to pay in the realms of £10,000 to sort it out, but that's not going to fix the problem. So you've now got a football club and kids and etc. now being shipped out of town yet again. Whose cost? The football club's cost. So who's losing out? Well, it'll be the kids again because of North Somerset's constant incompetence. And I know there's a certain member of the council that's not here to cite, it's an exec member, and he'll say, well, you're beating their heads again. No, we're not beating their heads again. We're telling the facts that North Somerset Council refuse to listen. They don't know how to consult with people. They wouldn't know what the word meant if it hit them in the face. And it's very frustrating from us as residents and you guys as councillors having sat in your seats, constantly beating on the stick to try and prevent things happening in this town that North Somerset thinks is a good idea. Well, they don't live here. With the exception of Roger, who's on the exec, obviously. What's the point, genuinely? So these people are here to represent us, and they should be doing it. Should we find hammer and tong, then parking charges to be rescinded, and some kind of document written and legal agreement that they will never put parking charges on that land. But we will have to explain to the likes of Viola and National Lottery why suddenly there's parking charges. Now, if they want to get arsy with us, they could potentially and say, well, actually, you told us something that's not true. We want some money back. Well, I know where I'm going for the money back. I'm going straight down to North Somerset Council. It'll cost them far more than what this will to pull it. They should pull it. Yeah. Whether they leave road, fine, not the end of the world, that one. I think it's a fairly logical step. It will hopefully solve some of the issues, but the lake ground's absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, 100%. Is there anybody online that wishes to speak to public participation? No. Okay. Okay, so if we're all done, we'll move on to the next agenda item, which is the minutes of the previous meeting. Got them here to sign off. Thank you. I can propose. Do we have a seconder? Yeah. Second. Thank you. I'll get them signed later. Okay, and now if we move on, so what I'll do, Ben, if you're ready, I'll point we'll jump ahead at the moment to agenda item number 9. So this in essence is a recommendation that we need to look at in essence to secure budgetary money, really, I guess, in that sense, for just the assurance that we need for all of the health and safety and the bits and pieces that we need to do for the actual RBL parade. Ben, is there anything that you want to sort of run through?
A bit of the background on this, obviously.
And we've got Barclays with us as well, yeah.
It's in Mayfair somewhere. So obviously, I think it was 3 years ago, Town Council obviously got notification from North Somerset that this kind of thing, Remembrance Day Parade now has to go through a process due to an incident that happened up north, unfortunately. Didn't have catastrophic consequences, but it certainly had the potential to. And they kind of effectively said, you need to put a traffic management system in place. You need to formally close the roads, get a risk assessment done, etc., etc., etc. The first year, obviously, it happened so close to the event. Everyone's kind of effectively operating out the seats of their pants, and we paid for a traffic management company to do it. This town council did. A great cost, and it was nothing short of a shambles. They were still asking the head of the parade with minutes to go, is this the road we need to shut? Well, we've got lots of people in the road and footpaths. We've given you maps, what the heck? So I then made a point of speaking to Barclay Harris, the RBL. I said, right, I will pull a team together and we will help you do this in future because this isn't happening again. It's a civic ceremony, which obviously the town council are obliged to pay for. I think it should be enshrined in law, if I'm honest, the council should pay for it, but that's my own opinion, obviously. But so we took it on, me, the Christmas lights, we agreed that we're going to take it on and we're going to run the event. I write the risk under our Christmas lights umbrella. So we've got the insurance, we are legally charged and qualified to close the roads. There's a team of 6 of us, now a team of 8 of us. So we can legally shut a road the minute we get the okay from the relevant authority to say, right, yes, you've got your traffic order. Yes, we're happy with your risk assessments. Yes, you can shut the roads on these times. So ever since we pulled the team together, this year will be our, I think it's 3rd year, I think it is, for doing it as that team. So we put them in place. I write all the risk assessments. I don't charge, will never charge for what I do because it's not the right thing to do. Doesn't matter if it's the LBL parade or whatever it is. I give it free out of my own time and expertise for what I do. I pulled the team together. We've got 12 volunteers this year from the lights crew and general volunteers on their own. We've got the Rotary going to help us out as well with some bits and bobs. And if you were asking a company to do 1, the road closures, 2, write the risk assessments, you've been in the realms of £3,000 to £5,000 every year easily. Obviously, we cover all that off. I think we've got a grant this year of £1,000 in the realms of. We've just spent it all because we just purchased some stuff today to save us buying it or renting it in future. Renting obviously is a short-term instance, we've gone and bought it. So that's kind of where we're at with it. And, you know, we organise everything. So all the road closures are in place with the help of Nikki. Nikki helps us kind of do all the bits of documentation in Somerset. I do the assessment bit. It's all been accepted. So we are all good to go for this year's event again. Obviously, moving forwards, as we found out last Thursday, the current Dyers boxes not fit for purpose. If they were to be used this year, then I will be amending the risk assessment accordingly because I'm not fit to stand them for a fit person, let alone 100-odd-year-old D-Day war veteran. Not acceptable. So what we're asking is the council that they guarantee up until 2027. March of 2027, I say that very deliberately because before further starts for the next election in 2027, they guarantee funding with an incremental index-linked increase every year that the Portsea Christmas Lights don't have to apply for, that it's just naturally as a given, we will get that money to put on the RBL parade, solely the RBL parade, and then it's reviewed in March 2027, and obviously I know it then inserted into the next budget years. Now, obviously, yes, the next council could decide actually we're going to ignore it and not do it. That's their call. But what we're asking is that some kind of solidity and safety net is provided to us that we can do it, because we are going to incur extra costs over the coming years. Insurance is going up, as we all know, every year. And we've got to, again, renew all of our training late next year, which is in the realm of £3,000 to £4,000 for us all to be retrained again and recertified. Now we can't not do that for 2 reasons. 1, the RBL parade wouldn't happen with us doing it for nothing, and 2, neither would Christmas lights switch on the Christmas market. I don't think the town will be too happy with that either, obviously. So I'm asking that the town council support this agenda item and kind of give us the safety net that we need effectively. And go from there with it.
Thank you, Ben, and I think we will probably all know, and you know, we wouldn't be able to do this without what yourself and the Christmas light team do as well. So just a thank you really from us as well.
This figure. Yeah, there is. I think it is on the agenda item. There is an amount, yeah.
Yeah, so the breakdown in terms of the budget that we've got, and these are the costs for this year specifically, but obviously we're talking about the incremental costs. For the PA system, it's 475. For the barriers, 140. Signage, the road safety signs and the closure signs, that's 100. The first aiders from Bristol Ambulance at 255. So that in its totality is sort of 970. And then we've got the what we're looking to actually do in terms of the recommendation here is then to have that 970 rising to 1100 across the course of the period, and then to earmark in the budget 3,000 for as a contingency in essence for making sure that we can do the road closures in an appropriate way if indeed something was to happen going forward, and we wouldn't be able to rely on the skills and the goodwill of yeah, I don't know if anybody's got any questions to it.
Yeah, I'm a bit on the event. So I read the paper, you're asking to put aside £3,000 as a contingency in case
we are
you can't make it.
yeah,
But what you're saying is you're actually requesting an additional £3,000.
No. This is just an earmark contingency for us, especially with where we are on the budget. We kind of need to make sure that we've got this in the budget to be able to make sure that we can run this going forward. But it's not.
Of course, and fantastic work you guys do. Thank you.
I mean, obviously, our request is that the council guarantee to fund the £1,000, that's £1,000,
which is what we added
going forward. Yeah. The additional bit is backup in case I fall off a cliff somewhere or get run over by something, kind of thing. So, we're just asking if there is a backup plan. I don't intend on calling it because I've got no intention of going anywhere. I want to support these events, which is why I do what I do. It's not just me, there's a team that I work very closely with, there's a massive group of us that do it. So, if something was to happen, then obviously we'd like the council to kind of just back us up if we need to from a financial perspective. That's one of those what I was going to look at, £1,000 plus then.
Yeah. So, did you work that? Did I see him?
No, it's just me just pushing my
No, that's fine. Badly, do you want to? Is there anything that you want to say or to add to that? I hope you've been able to hear.
Yes, absolutely. I got all of that. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for running the meeting and inviting me in. So yeah, as the chairman of the Royal British Legion, yes, of course, we've got to talk about logistics. And Ben, thank you to you and your team for covering all of that. But realistically, I'd love to come at this from an emotional angle, where, forgive me if I'm a couple of years out, but that parade in Portishead, I believe, has been running for 65 years. It's only missed 1 or 2 years, and one of those being COVID. So this truly is a community coming together. As Ben mentioned, there's Rotary there. There's a lot of people who help out with the Poppy appeal over the remembrance period. There's people in the room there. Annette, I know you do that. Thank you so much. Councillors getting involved. So it really is a true sign of everything that happens. And let's not have short memories here. The whole ethos of those who gave their lives so we can live ours, the motto is lest we forget. So my panic, my fear is if ever 1 year we go, we haven't got the money to run the parade. It's like, no, we can't do that. It's something we need to do. And this year, if ever there was an easy decision to make, we have our World War II veteran who will be taking part in the parade at 2 months shy of 101 years old. We need to continue this. I go to primary schools and talk to the kids about what remembrance is all about. So please, as a town, let's ensure we've got this long into the future, not only for remembering veterans, which of course is the main cause, but for that community event and doing just the right thing. So that's what I'd like to say. Thank you.
Can I just add something, as well? You'll probably, you might. So obviously, aside from the cost, the 970 this year and the 3,000 contingency, is that issue of the dais for this year.
We were just, we were literally just got.
Sorry, I didn't want to miss that bit.
No, that's absolutely fine. And we really need to order these sharply. I.e., it will be done tomorrow, providing that we kind of sign this off. So, they will arrive in time. But we do need to get this the dais replaced, because there's no way that anybody can stand on the ones that are in the store unit. And actually, these are more usable, they're lightweight, they're not going to come with the cost of transportation or anything that we've got with the other ones. So it's a reusable investment for sure. So I don't know, is anybody got any other questions? No. So I'm perfectly happy to propose that. I can have Jenny can second that. So in essence, that is the just in summary, so that's the 970 raising to 1,100 across the next 2 and a bit years. We've got the allocation of earmark funds within the budget of 3,000 as a contingency measure, just in case they are needed. And then we've got the actual cost of the replacement for the dais, which is there. Yeah, hang on. Nikki, do you know that off the top of your head?
Yeah, they're 349 each, but I'm speaking to the company for discounts if we get the green light tonight. So I've been talking to them today.
How many do we need, Nikki?
3.
All right, okay.
3, which we can put 4 people on. Mike's measured them all out.
Great.
Okay. So what?
Just a quick question, just to be clear, and I get it right. The £1,000 I can't get, or 1,100 next year I get, is a £3,000 also guaranteed for the next 2 and a bit years, that if it's needed, it is locked in, ring fence, and can't be moved.
We'll go into earmark reserves.
Yeah,
yes.
that's with you.
Yeah. So for the purpose of what we sort of voted on, if we say £1,100 for the stands for the dais, Nikki.
Yeah, that should do it. And hopefully I can get that lower because it's for the parade and
fine. Okay, so that's what we're approving. Yep, everybody good? Okay. Yep, so that was myself we have done Jenny second, and that is everybody in favour? Oh,
there's also a mention of a temporary flagpole which is taken along to the dais. Is that currently?
Yeah, we've got that in storage, and that's all well. It's in storage in the lockup and good to go.
It's not too heavy to carry.
Well, we've got to work out the logistics of getting it there, but if we can get a van, then it will go at Tudor Road, hopefully, at Tudor Garage, hopefully.
Yeah.
I can't help thinking, if you're getting lightweight portable daises, would it not be prudent to get something that's also collapsible and can be turned into a flagpole?
Yeah, is that something
that was not very long ago replaced, and it's not as hefty as the dais. I mean, it's relatively new. I think we don't need to replace it as yet, and we've got the flag opposite folk hall as well. It's in good condition as far as I'm concerned. I don't know how you feel, Ben. You saw it in the lockup.
It's the practicality element, is it?
Yeah, I mean, it's in good condition. Is it like, I'll make sure I have porridge and wheat before I pick it up. Yeah.
Taking 3 people, but manhandling.
It's going to take a couple of people, yeah.
You'll sort it out, it's fine.
So I've got a vehicle. That's sorted.
Okay, so then we it was an everybody ago. So we're cool. Okay.
Just quickly say something on this before we move on. So sorry, taking the meeting out. I want to before we go. Thank you. It's much appreciated. Thanks to Emma for your support, and Nikki. I've had many conversations over this past few weeks about this one. Obviously, this year is kind of a bit of a different year. Obviously, as we all know, it's D-Day, 80th anniversary, which is epic on its own. And having had the privilege to go out there just after D-Day this year and see it all in my own eyes, it's actually quite epic. As Barclay said, we'll have a D-Day war veteran there, nearly 101 by the time we get to the parade. I'm going to make a bit of a curveball request, and this is a request from me more than nobody else. I would like it that all the people that kind of deserve the salute, the D-Day veterans, the army veterans, the war veterans, the police, that they are the ones that stand on the stage area. So the town council obviously will be there. Roger will be there in his chains, hopefully. Mike will be there in his chains, hopefully. So they normally stand on the kind of the stage dice boxes, second the salute. I'm asking for a special request as a 1 year only. That is just the war veterans, with Arthur in the middle, the D-Day war veteran, and the other veterans either side of him, with the chief constable, I believe it is Barclay from the police. That for 1 year only, that they solely, the veterans, take or accept the salute and give the salute back.
Yeah.
It's a one-off request. Next year we'll go back to normal, hopefully. But I just think it's really important that we actually mark what these people did and what they've done for us to be here today and the freedom that we've got today. I think for me it's really important.
I'd probably go further than that then and say that it should be done on other years as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Good idea.
So it's just, I mean, if the council consider it, obviously, Roger's obviously not here to kind of give his opinion or speak. Obviously, Mike is in his capacity, but it's just, from me, it's a mark of respect for what these have done.
It's a perfectly acceptable suggestion.
Thank you. Yeah.
Good idea.
Okay. Take that and we'll see.
You just let me
We'll do that
know.
back.
Obviously, need to kind of sort it out. And just also thank you to Tudor Garage for letting us obviously have their forecourt. We're going to open this up for us on Sunday morning at 9 o'clock. You can get all the stage down there. So yeah, just one thing, just to kind of everyone that's on social media. I know the council are doing a huge amount of work. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, Amy. Regarding trying to hold back the crowd, because we've moved the council to be part of the event this year, to be closer to the event, to actually hear it and see most of it. We Tudor Garage. I think it's extremely important everybody gets a salute, and that's not just the veterans, past, present, and the services that get it. It's the kids that get it. There's thousands of kids in this parade as well, from the Beavers, the Scouts, the Girl Guides, the Cadets, etc. They're all there, and they all deserve to get and give the salute. We've had the past 2 years of battle trying to hold everybody back because they want to get to where the kids are going to be before they get there. Well, they will get there. What we're asking is if people spread the word. We are going to hold people back this year. There will be a car right behind the back of the parade, hopefully a police car to pick up the veterans, because some of them can't walk that far. So they're going to get a chariot of fire down to the church. So we're going to hold people back. And if we're just asking people to spread the word, please just bear with us. Don't get angry with us like a few did last year. Please just respect what everyone deserves to get and give a salute. We'll hold you back for all of 2 or 3 minutes. Let the last batch of kids go through and the car goes through, and the horse will be released down the high street. So yeah, just please, if we can, just try and just everybody work together on this one.
Yeah. No worries. Okay, thanks, Ben. Buffy, you're obviously welcome to stay with us, but if you need to drop off and carry on your journey, please do so. Okay, right. So back to the agenda, and then item number 7. And I know Benny might need to go as well. It's just
Yeah,
10,
sorry, I've
20%.
got to scoff. I'm not being rude, sorry, I'm going to the haircuts now.
No worries.
Thank you all.
Okay,
Cheers,
thank
bye.
Okay, so item number 7. So we're back in running order of the agenda itself. So we've got we've got 3, haven't we? Let's see. No, 2. Yeah, 2 grant applications to look at. So we've got Paul's Place for £624.23, and one for Willow Gardens for 1,000. So, yeah. Any questions on? Let's do the Paul's Place grant first. This has obviously come through the grant working party with a recommendation to fetch it here. Just checking if anybody's got any.
I was just interested in, it says there are 78 members, so they across the southwest? Are they regional? Are they
It's regional.
regional?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, and in terms of the you know, the different places and everything that they go, they tend to also be regional.
Yeah.
No, all good.
No, brilliant.
Yeah. So so if I read this this out in full, so the recommendation that the town council award the full grant which was requested, which was the £624.23, and this is to support activities and day trips that Paul's Place sort of hold. As I said, 78 members in total, which is regional, and 3 of those members are in Portishead. So the project will benefit the 3 disabled adult members of Paul's Place who live in Portishead, and they also provide on the days out respite for the families and carers. We wanted to add, obviously, as well, we've made sure that it's in the signposting as well, but Paul's Place is open to new members, and the services can be accessed through self-referral or through local authority referral as well. So so the recommendation in full is that the town council awards £624.23 to Paul's Place to support activities and the day trips for 3 disabled adult members of Paul's Place who live in Portishead. I have a proposer. Yep. So we've got David and we've got Janet, and that's everybody in favour. Everybody in favour. Okay, so the next grant award that we're looking at is Willow Gardens. So the recommendation from the grant working party is to this is a part fund in essence up to £1,000 or £8,000 of the requested £4,296. What we have proposed as the grant working party is that we will also match fund up to an additional £1,000 if PMG were willing to actually make a contribution to Willow Gardens as well, as it is on PMG land. So the money that we've got sort of earmarked here is to cover wooden stakes, the purchase of silver birch trees, seed, bulbs, and then other small sundry items, but they are still looking for raising the money through other channels to actually get all of the other bits and pieces. So we've had some really lovely stories through from the Willow Gardens team, just detailing the people that they've been able to help, some real success stories there, to be honest, which are they were really lovely to read. So the recommendation is that the town council will award £1,000 to Willow Gardens, and then also consider a further 1,000 as a match funding if PMG were also willing to make anywhere up to that £1,000 contribution as well. So I don't know if anybody's got any questions or anything on the award itself.
I'm not challenging the money at all, but I can't think, I saw something a couple of weeks ago that was saying that it's an organisation, a charity that has thousands and thousands of trees for free for people to plant. It might have been on Countryfile or something. And I'm just thinking, that if we could manage to get some saplings from somewhere that don't cost anything, I'll dig deep in my brain.
Yeah, sure.
They already had a lot of, it's the Woodland Trust, and they already had a lot of saplings, but I think that they are less specific. I suspect that the silver birches will be slightly larger than the normal saplings. But yes, they have already accessed that.
Yeah. Okay. So can we take a vote? Do we have a proposer? Is that, Dave's proposing, Janet seconding, and that's all of us in favour.
Okay, thank you.
Said, and I think I'll be speaking to them as well about different bits and pieces, which I'll let Nikki know about tomorrow. I've got a little idea rolling around in the head. Okay, so agenda item number 8. So this is replacement perimeter fencing in the lake grounds. So there's a report in the actual full pack itself. You go backwards and forwards. I don't know if everybody's had chance to read this. It's again sort of one of these sort of disappointing sort of elements, really, I guess, of what we've got and the maintenance that we've got around the lake ground. So the fence itself is, we're thinking, around 20 years at least old, but we will sort of check. But what we haven't got there is something that is sort of, you know, marine grade in essence. So there are lots of bits of damage. There is elements where we are, or the consideration here, just to, you know, keep the costs down, is to kind of reuse and do this in phases. So what we've got is a sort of a two-phase plan. 7,700 to cover phase 1, 5,400 to cover phase 2. And yeah, the contractor, who is a local contractor as well, is able to store the panels, isn't he? Yeah, up until sort of phase 2 is instigated as well. But yeah, the total cost for the replacement, if we were to look at the whole thing, replacing all of the kind of the section around the play area there, is 35,500. Which means, you know, that's completely out of what we need to do. But, you know, from a safety perspective, and just making sure that we've got something there that's, you know, fit for purpose as well. This is the option that we're suggesting. Oh, sorry, Nick.
Yes, I don't do my waiting.
I don't know, babbling on then, sorry.
It concerns me that obviously that was the highest cost, but this town council is going to pay over 13,000 for some fencing around a play area, which they didn't need to be responsible for. And this town council took over that play area from North Somerset Council, who were financially responsible for it. And if we think that's a lot of money, then I'm surprised that the person who sits in the chairman's seat of this town council, not you, the full town council, is considering taking over the whole of the lake grounds of North Somerset Council, which is slight conflict of interest, bearing in mind his executive role. And I think that's a lot of money that should have been done before that happened. And to now look at those costs, personally, I don't think we should have taken it over from them at all. And before any further negotiations take place of this town council taking over North Somerset Council responsibilities, we need to consider that. The maintenance, the insurance liability of other issues as well. It's out of this town council's area, I believe. You know, talking about North Somerset Council feeling that they're going bust, I think this town council will, if we keep paying for North Somerset Council responsibilities.
No, it's, as you said, it's like as Ben mentioned earlier with the tree work and the other work, we are yeah, we're in between a rock and a hard place, really, I guess, with this. It's definitely something that has to be done. But in effect, we're picking up the cost.
Just to say, when we took over the play area, we knew there was maintenance and there was some budget in there for that. So it wasn't a big surprise that there are things that come up because you always expect that. So there was,
yeah.
so
what budget was put in there then, may we ask? So how much budget was there towards this fencing from North Somerset
we put in £20,000 a year from memory.
Sorry, for this fencing, I asked. No. I asked how much has been put through for this fencing.
I think it wasn't a specific amount, it was 20,000.
Well, exactly, that's the problem. You don't make, you should never make negotiations without, well, no, I was speaking as well. You should never make negotiations with North Somerset Council without actually making sure you've got the money to pay for the maintenance. And you haven't. So
that's why we put the budget in place to cover the general maintenance.
Well, clearly you have got the budget to pay for the 35,000, which is really needed.
So we need to move forward. We haven't really got much option. We need to move forward on it. And yeah, we'll double check. Obviously, from a budgetary point of view, I'm not sure we've got anything else that we were aware of. We'll come to the play park sign, which is a later sort of cheaper suggestion in terms of what we've got as well. But go on.
Have we had other quotes even for the specific species?
So, oh, go on, Wendy.
what we have done, we have had several different typed quotes. We've gone out and tried to find out how much it would cost to replace all of the fencing. That was prohibitive because of the costs. We have hunted high and low for contractors who can replace parts of the fencing like for like, and that was virtually impossible. So we had to go along the lines of trying to find somebody who could replicate what's already there. And these are the only people that we can find that can actually do this. And they've actually come out as being the least expensive option of all of it. So that's where we are. We can't get 3 quotes because there aren't 3 lots of people who can actually do this specific work.
Yeah, I'll let you just back what Brenda's just said. It is a very unusual construction. It's all in one huge, great piece. You can't cut part of it out and move it. You've got to take a whole massive bit. It's just odd. I've never seen anything else like it.
Very true.
What we're looking at, the recommendation is to accept quote A, proceeding with a phased approach. So phase 1 at £7,700 in this year's budget in 24-25, and then earmark 5,400 in what will be the 25-26 budget when that comes to be sorted out later on this year for next year.
I guess we'll need to earmark money going forwards then, because inevitably the other panels are going to deteriorate eventually, aren't they?
Yeah.
So wait a minute, can I just ask very quickly then, how much of that £20,000 is left then, and what was it spent on previously?
Yeah, I don't know. That will be a question we can put to Rachel. Yeah.
You don't know, so I find that hard. You told us that you had it, but you don't know what it's been spent on.
I just told you that we put it in the budget forecast, so money is there to be spent on maintenance.
You don't know what it was spent on.
Inside it.
Such a worry.
Don't put words in people's mouths.
Well, I'm not putting words in your mouth. I'm just saying to you that you said there was £20,000 put to the budget, but you don't know what it's been spent on so far, and you don't know what's left.
We'll
As I
look
said here
at.
today, but I'm sure we can all go into the spreadsheet.
Yeah, no, we'll take that up with Rachel and find that. Okay, so I'll propose. Janet seconds, and okay, that's all passed. Okay, so skipping number 9 because we've already covered that. We'll go on to number 10, which is the Lake Browns bird feeding station. So Portishead Town Council has been contacted by an officer of North Somerset Council, and they've been approached by a company to introduce what's called a sustainable duck feeder on the land, which is in effect it will be in the middle of the actual area where you've got all of the swans and all of the geese and everything there. So there is a link. I don't know if anybody's kind of seen it at all. No, yeah. So the company installs it, they manage it. It's basically it's meant to try and dissuade the swans and the geese, from eating the bread, and actually give them food which is relevant to what they're meant to be eating. So it's just at the moment a sort of it's not even a recommendation. It's just for us to kind of go ahead to consider the proposal. So I don't think that there's any reason why we shouldn't, to be quite frank. Yeah.
Will it cost us anything?
No.
And it will improve the quality of the water?
Yes.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah. So we'll push on in whichever way that we need to push on. Wendy, I think is the right way to put it.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were going to say something then, David. So agenda item 11, which I've already needed to sort of note an interest in. There's no recommendation, it's just an information, so I'm safe to continue and read it out. So the Bristol Airport are running resident engagement sessions at the Hampton by Hilton location in Bristol Airport, and these are being run on the first Wednesday of every month. Next to reception, there is an exception, as the next meeting will be on Wednesday, November the 13th, and thereafter it'll be on the first Wednesday of the month. And in effect, it's sort of an engagement information drop-in session. So residents can drop in anytime between 9 a.m. and midday. They're asking people to park in the hotel car park, and then they're given a complimentary parking ticket to exit. So in essence, it's just to note the availability of the resident engagement meetings and their officers at Bristol Airport, and that's about it really. There's more to add to that. Item 12 is just going back on something that we were discussing in the last Community Matters meeting around office recycling. And in essence, it's just to confirm that that we are, it has to be something that we do eventually, so we might as well just start it now. So in effect, it is just to confirm that the officer recycling collection will start with an immediate effect, and if I remember off the top of my head, it's just a couple of £100, isn't it, between now and the end of this sort of up until April. So item number 13, which is our signposting referral update, that is in the back of the pack there. I don't know if anybody's got any questions or anything on there. We have seen a bit of a shift. Sorry, Jennifer.
Because Claire is now working in the library on Friday mornings, she's not seeing so many people on Friday mornings at the moment because people have got to get used to the change.
Yeah.
However, it's beginning to build up. And citizens' advice are finding it very difficult on Friday mornings now.
Just body
because they're still at the Beacon Hub.
Yeah.
And the volume of people coming in who, there were 12 drop-ins on Friday morning, and most of those would have been handled by Claire.
Yeah. Is it something that we need to think about? There's nothing, no, yeah, obviously from that, but
they are thinking of putting a third person in.
Right, okay, yeah.
So
then,
am I right in thinking she's been moved to the library because she prefers to work in an open space in the Beacon Hub for safety reasons? So she doesn't want to go into she's unable to go to an office.
Confidentiality also.
Confidentiality. People could overhear, because Beacon Hub is literally crammed on a Friday morning.
There's no
table is here, and somebody would be sitting here, and there would be somebody literally behind them, earwigging about what they were talking about.
I take that, but is there no office if she had a private room next to Citizens Advice and Beacon Hub, which I think might be available? Would you be able to?
No, there isn't. No. And the private room is used by CAMS, isn't it?
In some ways, the library is even less private. It's a by definition, it's a quiet place in a conversation.
But actually, it is better there for her. However, this is being recorded, so I'll talk afterwards.
Okay, no worries. Okay, so I was only going to mention, and I don't know whether the demographic of the age groups has changed because of that, but it's gone up. We've got less in the 20 to 40-year-old category than we would normally have. So as I said, that just might be down to where it is now. I don't know.
It was also partly because she had leave when she would have been at the youth centre where she is there.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it could be affected with that. Fine. Okay. Agenda item number 14. So this is our follow-up from last month's update around the hip hop. Mike, you're with us. So in essence, what we're looking at is a recommendation to repurpose the pole that's there that we needed to decommission by taking off the hip hop. We've pulled back the kind of the report really, I guess, in terms of what we had before. The cost for the whole ride replacement was over £5,000. The decommissioning of the actual pole itself, it's so far into the ground, it would be that is too cost prohibitive to actually sort of get that done as well. So the thought from Mike from last month, which has kind of just been sort of solidified here in terms of a recommendation, is to repurpose that post with a Portishead Play Park sign on, sort of in a sort of a similar
Friendly,
fashion.
child-friendly looking sign.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, well, it utilises it, and it.
Can I just add that the little motive I've drawn there on the piece of paper, of course,
It's a representative.
It's not showing it cut out.
Yeah.
So in effect, all those letters are cut out, so you can see through them.
Yeah.
After David.
Sorry, Mike. I worry that we're spending so much on that play park, and having looked at where that sign will go up, it's not. And there's quite a lot of signage around there. My concern is an additional 800. Just time of economic uncertainty just isn't good value for money.
David, you're the one making the decision tonight. I'm not.
Up to you guys.
Janet, were you going to? I'm sorry.
I was going to ask whether the 1,000 people that were being proposed as doing it were the same ones as were possibly the contractor that was possibly has done other work for Portishead Town Council in the past, and on the Environment Park.
Well, if you want me to answer that in the public realm, then the answer is yes, it is.
Okay.
I also feel slightly uncomfortable. Here we are trying to make decisions around railings that is difficult for us to afford. And this is a lovely thing to have, but is it appropriate? Is it the right thing to do? And I've got a couple of questions. One, I know that the thing that the hip hop stand at the moment is tilting. I'll be able to get it upright. It is at an angle, so it's
Sure.
It looks at an angle on the picture, and I thought, no, I think that's just the photograph.
And it's well concreted in.
Yeah.
It's not sloping.
No. No, we wouldn't be envisaging shifting it because.
No, not shifting it, but it's
No,
just,
no, no,
it's just
that's-
not up.
It is upright.
It is upright.
It is upright.
It is upright, okay. And then the other thing is to just remove it completely, because it can't stay as it is, because it's not safe. Some kid will crack their head on it or something. So to remove it completely, how much is it going to cost? Is that the £150? 150 is to just get rid of it completely. So what? Yeah. So we're looking at
the 150.
£800 difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
And is there any other way that we could fund it? Is there any,
Nothing.
What do we?
I love the idea, but I think that
Too much in the current. Is that an agreement in essence?
I think so. I feel it, given where we are with budgets.
Yeah.
We are going to be taking on the thing we actually had to look after and maintain. I think it's lovely, Mike. If we could find a way of getting it done at hardly any cost, would be great.
Before you make a final decision, I will just add that if you decide against it tonight, then it will get cut off very soon, and that'll be it done. So there's no going back. We can't have another shot at this.
But we could put it somewhere else.
No, it won't be removed and reused.
No, but we could put a
No,
play
no.
park sign up.
Play park
Play park sign up
When we've
somewhere.
got a bit more
Well,
money.
good, yes, but then it's then another digging a big hole and pouring concrete in and all that stuff. I was just looking at it as being a reuse of this stump pole
Yeah,
rather than
yeah.
removing it and have done with it. But anyway, it is what it is.
Can we suggest that we explore other opportunities for funding, you know, through crowdfunding or through, is there something else that we might be able to
We
do?
can do. I'm not sure how urgent it is to actually remove the pole.
I think it's fairly urgent, actually. I don't feel very pleased with it being there as it is at the moment.
It is sticking
I
out.
think it's, yes.
Yeah, realistically, I don't really the sort of thing people are going to want to fund, is it?
No.
The heavy heart, but for a nice
Yeah.
idea. It just it doesn't feel right, given the discussion we had over the really big cost for the fencing.
And some of the other discussions we've had about grants earlier on in the year, you know, funding.
Yeah.
So children with disabilities, you know, access to stuff and things like that. That to me is more of a priority. And if we've got to weigh things
Yeah.
up, then
It's nearly £1,000.
Yeah.
What you might find in the future is an opportunity with, you know, if there's a big player refurbishment, you know, may get some
Part of
funding
it.
around
Yeah.
that, and obviously you've got some signage as part of that. I think.
Yeah.
So get something just for the sign.
Okay, so I think we are all in agreement then, as you said, echoing what David said, with a heavy heart, sorry, Monique, but yeah,
It was a trial.
not recommending. Yeah. Okay, agenda item 15 then, date of next meeting, so that's Wednesday, the 27th of November, at usual time of 7:30. Okay, we are closing the meeting, it's 20:52. Thanks.